In this video I'm going to replace the Grille cloth or speaker cloth on a Vox AC4-C1. I got the Vox used but didn't have a Grille cloth on it. You can see the marks where the Grille cloth was and just the shreds of the Grille cloth, so it was actually torn off the front of it, which isn't the best way to remove it. For this you got to remove all the screws in the back. I'm not going to show you all those, just going to do one and show you. You can see, so there's 3 different types of screws, wood screws and a few other screws in it. So you just pry off the back. When that's done, it should come off with your hand. The amplifier circuit is actually still in place. This gives you access then to the speaker. So you can see just some of the Grille cloth left over the inside. There's a bunch of screws inside there, so you've got to get into those. Importantly though, you've got to remove the speaker cables first. So there's just 2 speaker cables. On this one on the left is a brown, and on the right is a black, and they just come off. They're on electrical lugs. This one was loose already. Take those off. When you've done that, you can remove the amplifier. Again, be very gentle, it's very heavy, and you break those valves and you're in trouble. Now we've got access to the speaker. You've got a bunch of screws on the inside that hold the box together, the arrows, you can see. The speaker, once you got those out, and you can see they're mostly in the corners, so I think it's 3 screws per side, so 12 screws. You just remove the speaker screws, so again I'll spare you having to remove all of those, and then the speaker just lifts out when you do that. Again, be careful, the speaker is delicate, you don't want to puncture the front of it in the middle of all this, so be careful where you're going to put it down. The speaker just pops off, there's no glue on it, as you can see. And now I can start getting to business. This was the most difficult part, was trying to get the front of it out gently, because the wood was really brittle. It was aged, sitting in someone's attic or something for a while. So you can see I just put it over the edge of a table. I just used my fist and gentle pressure, and eventually came out. The glue on the edges seemed to have seeped down and actually stuck it to the front, which I don't think is meant to be the case. So now we got it free. So on the inside you've actually got a bunch of tacks, different layers, so 3 layers of tacks. That's what's left of the Grille cloth. So there's a little bead. So the first layer of tacks, you can see here, they're kind of rusted, so I just pry them off. Again, I'm going to spare you taking out all the tacks. I speeded the video up to take out a couple of them. They got stuck, they wouldn't come out no matter what I used, so I had to take them out with pliers. Some of them still broke. That was the first layer of tacks. Then we got another layer of tacks here. So again, just remove what was after the Grille cloth, and I'll speed this up. Again, just use pliers. There's probably a tool out there, somebody can put it in the comments if there's anyone watching this. You know, use a turning motion to stop them from actually breaking. For these ones, pry it on one side with a screwdriver, then the other side, and it seemed to come out easy enough. This is a white beading goes around the edge. Under that is, guess what, another layer of tacks. These were really deep in. You can see how many tacks were taken out. It actually makes the wood quite brittle. I cut my cloth to measure. You want about 2 inches, an inch around the edges when you go on the inside. Begin to tack it up. So again, just putting your tacks in. I had to glue around the edges as well before I tacked it, just to give the stuff to something to grip to. There's a little trim on the front, so I just glued that in before I stretched the bottom of my cloth, clamped it overnight. Once the cloth was fully tacked up, I was then able to do the bead. But again, you might want to glue that gold band on top first and leave it overnight so it's not pulling down, especially for this kind of amplifier, because the Grille cloth doesn't actually wrap around all the 4 sides. It just wraps around 3 and it's stuck into 1. So I tacked it up here. Again, I'll spare you all the tacking. Goes around the edges. Then when I had that ready, I had a couple of holes. Again, the wood was quite brittle, so I just used, in this case, a skewer to fill it in. I glued around the inside edge before I put back the Grille panel. Use just some basic Grille glue. You can use Yoo-Hoo or whatever you want. There was some glue there before, but this just, I think it's more flexible, so as the speaker vibrates, you're not going to get vibration coming through. So it gives you some of that protection. There'd be nothing worse than listening to a buzz while you're playing your guitar, as probably anyone looking at this video well knows. So I just put glue on it, didn't overdo it. When I had enough glue on it, I just placed on the front. So there's my actual panel. It's finished with the Grille cloth on it and the bead, and everything's tacked up. Then I stood the amplifier once I had that in. And that went in pretty easy when I stood the amplifier back up again then. So I could put in screws, and you just see that here. So stand it up, get your couple of screws in. So you can see I just got to put the same screws back in. And again, I'll spare you, so I think it was 12 screws in total in the amplifier. So I just did up all 12, a nice bit of a squeeze, not over the top, replace the speaker. Again, you don't want to overdo it, especially with this kind of amplifier, because it's got little hymns, they're called, in the front of the wood, and they'll just begin to stretch and break. Don't forget to put 2 speaker cables back on, put all your screws back on. I should have said earlier, this top 2 screws are what hold in the amplifier. When you're finished, this is what it looks like. So it looks almost new, and hope you enjoy replacing Grille cloth.